It happened
Ugh.
again, didn't it?
Oh, we had a 99.9% chance of winning the game, man. All right, just play the theme music, man. I don't know what you're rummaging over there.
Booch.
It's not.
Booch. We playing Booch ball. Booch. We playing Booch ball.
Hello and welcome back to Booch Ball, the only podcast on the internet talking kombucha and college sports. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Freed. Hey, Freed.
Hey, what's up, dude?
I'm doing well. You're doing well too?
Now I am. It took about 24 hours, but I'm all right.
Oh, are you talking about how Miami lost this weekend to Georgia Tech?
We did. I turned the game off with about 46 seconds left. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, never mind. That's, you know what, Freed? That actually reminds me of so I was just listening to This American Life, which I'm starting to get back into. Okay. You ever listen to This American Life on NPR?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like some families are NPR families and some families aren't. National Public Radio, NPR. Ever heard of it? You've never
Not
heard
me,
of
no.
NPR?
No, that's not me.
God, you're such a Florida guy.
Florida man. See this?
Yeah, Freed has a mustache for the majority of the people who don't watch this video stream. Though we are live on Twitter and on YouTube, technically. Yeah, so NPR is like a pretty major. It's the national public radio system for all of America. It's like a big news network. It does have a little bit of a liberal skew, like any nationally funded type thing. But they have this show called This American Life, which is like kind of like tells stories and things like that. And have you ever watched the movie The Sound of Music?
Yes.
Do you know of The Sound of Music? So Sound of Music, it's the one with Julie Andrews, and there's the movie. It's based on a play, so it's based on a musical. And the person on the show, they were talking about movies, and apparently like the movie at one point came in like a 2-part box set VHS tape, and this person didn't have the second part of the VHS tape, which is when like the Nazis arrive in Sound of Music. Spoiler alert. So for her, the movie ended at like this point where like everybody kind of lived happily ever after. The family was on good terms. Maria, the nanny, went away, but everything was good. And she didn't realize that the Nazis came in part 2. So that's, I feel like, if you had been watching the Miami game and like turned it off, like towards the end of the fourth quarter, it would have been a similar situation. It would have been like watching The Sound of Music, pre-realizing that the cute boy from the "You Are 16 Going on 17" theme actually was a Nazi messenger.
Yeah. So speaking of Nazis, no Nazis, but yes, people definitely did that. With 2 minutes left in that game, they definitely turned it off.
I basically did it because I was in Georgia with Dur and Reba from our last episode, and we were just like at a bar. We were like at a bar, and then went to we were like eating dinner,
cool.
and I just had it on my phone because we were in Georgia. Nobody gave a shit about the Georgia Tech game. Everybody was watching the UGA Kentucky game, which was a big blowout. So I would just keep checking back on my phone. And I'd be like, oh, this game's like, I was like, oh, like we're obviously gonna win, but like it keeps getting like closer and closer.
Well, that's the thing. The thing that the media kind of missed, in my opinion, is
you mean the liberal media, Freed?
Yeah, the liberal football media. Yeah. This is one thing that they missed. It wasn't just a 1-play decision not to kneel it. It was a 3-play decision because as soon as Miami picked up the first down on 3rd and 1, we were under 2 minutes left in the game. At that point, you take 3 knees and you get out of there. We ran it 3 times. I got a text from my wife with about a minute left in the game saying, "Oh, looks like you survived. Congratulations." 5 seconds later, the fumble.
So it's her fault.
Yeah.
It's Kayla's fault. All right. Cool. Great. Thanks for that. and also the
Thanks.
ref's fault.
Yeah. Thanks.
But yeah, so I mean, I feel like anybody who's watching this show at this point has already like heard the Miami thing already. So I feel like we've covered it. We get it. It
And
sucks.
not only do we not need to talk about it, we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. You know what?
We're moving on.
And for that reason, Frida, it's time for us to move along. Move along, like I know you will, to the next segment of Booch Ball, which is, of course, what we're drinking.
What we're drinking.
Freed, what the fuck are we drinking?
We're drinking a little piece of paradise today, baby.
Thank God.
GT's Island Bliss. Let's get after it. Talk about blissful shit, because that first 5 minutes you were talking about Nazis, Georgia Tech. It was depressing, frankly. I almost fell asleep, actually.
Oh no. Well, I'm sorry, but yeah, we're back. Yeah, we're drinking the Island Bliss GTs. And Freed, I was actually looking at our Bucha big board where we keep the record of every kombucha we've ever had on the show. And I noticed that we had something called a Passionberry Bliss. And I looked back and I was like, wait, Passionberry Bliss GTs, now there's an Island Bliss? And for a split second, I thought that they had just changed the name. But then I remembered that Passionberry Bliss had blackberry in it. And it was
right.
good.
That's right. This is not a rebrand. I think they probably did scrap Passionberry Bliss.
I'm pissed about because I liked the Passionberry Bliss, and now I have the Island.
It's a new
Bliss.
concoction. Yeah.
And Island Bliss, I've already looked at the ingredients. It has passion fruit. It has orange juice, which is always questionable with the kombucha, I feel like. And then guava. So I feel like this has the potential, knowing GTs, to be very, very sweet.
Very sweet, very tropical. I remember back in our Passionberry Bliss and our Guava Goddess days, we didn't really know what either of those things were supposed to taste or smell like. So I'm curious here if we're going to pick up on one of them,
now that
or
we're
if it's just going to be, is it just going to be tropical? Who knows?
All right, well, let's go ahead and crack her open. What do you say?
All right.
Oh yeah, that's tropical. All right. It's kind of like it's an assault on the nostril. I think this has been the strongest flavor we've had so far this year.
Straight off the cusp, I noticed the guava. I remember what guava smells like because after we had Guava Goddess, I actually tried some fresh guava.
Right.
And some of it kind of got a little overripe in my kitchen, and the whole house was smelling like guava for a couple
I feel like
days.
fruit flies would like have a field day with overripe
You know what?
guava.
I don't buy bananas anymore because every time I buy bananas, I have fruit flies for weeks.
Fruit flies? Okay, my opinion on fruit flies are, first, that they're gross, but second, that they are one of the most satisfying and also easiest things to kill in the kitchen as far as bugs go. I think probably mosquitoes are the number one as far as satisfying, because like, especially if they're a little bloody, because then it's true vengeance there. But for fruit flies, they're slow. They're thick, and like, I think the black house fly is the hardest thing to kill for a bug. Because that shit is like, you can't get that with your hand. You truly do need a fly swatter most of the time.
Mosquitoes are like tanks, though. Like, you can get a few good shots on them, and they just bounce right off.
No, not after with them. You gotta get them. You have to lure them onto your skin.
Dude, I was getting bombarded at work on Tuesday. I was in my work truck with my coworker, and every time we'd get in and out, mosquitoes would follow, and the truck was like a mosquito graveyard. There were squished mosquitoes all over the windshield, all over the wheel, all over the canvas, all over us. We were we almost needed a third person solely to be there swatting the bugs from us.
So we've popped open the Island Bliss, and so far it's been about 2 straight minutes talking about bugs and mosquitoes. So
clearly we don't have a lot of topics for this week's episode.
Let's go ahead and take a sip of the Island Bliss and see what our rapid reaction is, and see if we find this as tasty as mosquitoes find the human bloodstream to be. Interesting.
At first, it's really good. It kind
has
of
a bizarre aftertaste, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has that kind of exactly what we expected, that sour, overly sweet GT's flavor.
I'm getting the taste of orange, and I'm almost getting it like in my lungs.
It's very orangey.
I'm like,
It's
I really don't like orange flavored things. I was at Whole Foods, definitely not stealing another candle today, the other day.
hopefully
And there was like, now that it's fall, there's lots of like cinnamon and orange, like cacao,
yeah.
like candles. And I just don't fuck with that. I like a candle. I want any candle that I burn to make me smell like I'm in a forest in Maine. That's all.
Have you ever smelt a leather candle?
Of Landel? No.
Those are all the rage in Texas. The scent of leather.
Ew. There's just I can see Texas just being like gun smoke candles. It's just gunpowder. It just explodes in your home.
Truck candle. Smell diesel.
Just exhaust pipe. I bet that there's probably a market for diesel candles.
Yeah, Texas.
We don't sell fucking Yankee candles down here, brother.
Dixie candles.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm this isn't bad by any means. It's not good though, necessarily.
I agree. It's niche. It's summertime sweetness popsicle.
Yeah, it's summertime sweetness. It gets into the GT's territory of sometimes being like a melted popsicle, as I've said on the show before.
Yeah.
It's like one of those
The
orange.
first few sips were really good. Getting through this whole 16-ounce bottle is going to be a chore.
It's this. I got. Bleh.
I was just salivating.
It's the saliva. It's just like thick, viscous
flows.
saliva. All right, Freed. We've told the good people what we're drinking. The GT Synergy, the Island Bliss. The thing, like GT's doesn't really do anything specific about their kombucha on like other companies, especially Brew Doctors, like very specific to like, oh, we specifically did this flavor together because
The
of blah blah blah.
rankings.
But this
And
doesn't do anything like that. It's just like this is our flavor, and then the words of enlightenment is sometimes things must be still. They have a thing that says words of enlightenment. Sometimes things must be still. Did you say that too?
That goes back to the whole bliss, find your happy place, right?
I feel like when I'm experiencing bliss, I'm usually like at a music festival. And I'll leave it at that.
We're jumping a little bit ahead here, Alex, aren't we? Because,
yeah, because it's time to move on to the second segment of Booch Ball, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
We've told them what we're drinking.
What's that thing called again?
It's now time to tell the good people, the Boochies and the Noochies, what we're thinking.
What we're thinking.
So, Freed, it's been kind of a rough week, obviously. Miami has been the laughingstock of the college football world. Again. But, this has maybe been an opportunity to kind of like reevaluate some things in our lives, kind of take that moment of stillness to take a step back and reevaluate some things. So in the theme of Island Bliss, this almost feels like a Thanksgiving episode. Like, what are you blissful about? Or like, what puts you in your blissy place? What makes you feel blissy?
That was last week's episode. Afternoon.
By the way.
You an Army dad?
No, I found this cup on the side. It's a mug. It's like a small mug on the side of the road that has an anchor. And then like it's like how a sailor would have like the anchor tattoo with a little banner that says mom, but it says dad. And once I saw this on the side of the road, I had to have it. I was drinking this in a work meeting one day, and my boss was like, "Does that say dad on it?" I was like,
picking up a random mug on the side of the road and then drinking out of it is one of the most prototypical Alexy things I've ever heard.
I washed it, Freed. I washed it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? It looks like something like a Delta Gamma would give her dad when he comes to college.
Anchor drop daddies. All right, Freed, tell us about your blissful place.
Yeah, my blissful place is on the golf course or playing softball. Either way, you just want a pure one. Just feels so nice, so serene, so peaceful.
Sorry, say that again. You just want a pure one?
Yeah. Whether it's a golf ball or the softball.
You want like a nice clean strike of the ball.
Nice clean ping.
Sometimes you just hear that. It's almost, when you're playing golf, it's almost like a click.
That's right. The less sound, the better when you pure it. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on mini golf, Freed?
I like mini golf. I feel like it's more of a luck. A lot of skill gets taken out because the greens just aren't super well kept most of the times. You're
Well, they're
bouncing
usually like
around on the
plastic.
carpet,
Yeah,
bouncing across the rocks.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in my blissful place on a mini golf course, but it
No.
is a fun little place. There's
Yeah.
a place, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, probably not, but there's a place that I've been to a couple times in Manhattan that's called Swingers,
Okay.
which is,
I
by
like
the way,
where
a
this is
misleading
going.
name for a mini golf place because there's no swinging in mini golf. You would actually get removed from the place if you swung.
If you take a full swing, you
But
can take some like
it is
quarter
hilarious. It
swings.
would be more fun to be a driving range. But I have had I've had a date there. I've had a group like a friend date there. I think I have a friend come into town, and I think I'm gonna take him to Swingers with me.
That's hot.
David Kramer, our old fraternity brother.
He actually
He
sent me a
sometimes
text this
listens to the show.
morning.
Shout out Kramer.
Did he send you a text about kombucha this morning or just me?
Yes, he sent me one. Yeah. David Kramer
I
found
don't feel as special anymore.
Well, I think it was just he found out what it was from me like 3 weeks ago. I was
Ah,
like, David, I've been doing a kombucha themed podcast for like 3 years now. He's like, I have no idea. He's off the grid. He's not really on the social media.
that's fair.
So he's really come back around. And honestly, I think I'm gonna take him to some kombucherias because I haven't really done that. I haven't really done a Brooklyn tour of kombucherias, and hopefully, Freed, that might put me in a blissful place, honestly, because I'm actually doing I had been doing it. I was doing like a kind of like not drinking during the week kind of thing. And I did that all up to this week until earlier today. And then I did have a couple beers today, to be perfectly fair. But it was kind of nice because it allowed me to be still because especially when sports gears up again, it really does push the drinking agenda. Because it's like, well, it's Thursday night. There's a game on, I'm going to drink. And then it's like, well, then it's Friday night. And whether or not there's a game, it's still Friday night. And then Saturday, it's college football's all day. So you can be drinking during the day. And then Sunday,
Yeah.
I mean, it's NFL. It starts over again. And then Monday night, there's still a game. And then there's Maction on Wednesday.
There's always an excuse to drink if you're looking for it,
So that's why
but
kombucha, that's why I do love having kombucha in my fridge. Because it really
yeah,
is oh, I don't need to do this every night. I just want something to sip
something
on.
to drink,
Yeah.
right? We're actually watching Big Vape on Netflix, number one show
At the
on
rise and
Netflix
fall
right
of
now,
Jewel.
about the fall of Juul. And
Is it
it's
good?
kind of similar. Like the whole thing when they were starting up Juul, apparently, was they wanted to keep the good things about smoking cigarettes, which was like the habit, the routine, the camaraderie.
Being cool.
Yeah, it's the same thing about drinking, but instead of beer, you can still have those bubbles. You can still pick it up and put it in your mouth, but probiotics, good for you.
Pick it up and put it in your mouth. The kombucha story. Speaking
That's
about
how I
being
get to my blissful
blissful.
place.
Speaking about bliss. All right, I'll give you a bliss today. So speaking of drinking the beers, so like one of the reasons why is like I did a today I went on a ferry in New York City.
What was her name?
The Tooth Fairy.
Really?
Yeah, the name of the ferry was called the Tooth Fairy. All the
Clever.
ferries have like cutesy little names like that.
Cool.
So ours was the Tooth Fairy. And we started following the Instagram. I think it's NYC Ferry, and they have like kind of like a fun TikTok-y kind of vibe on their social media presence. And it was a lovely ride. Got to see the Statue of Liberty. Got to see all of like my neighborhood of Brooklyn, and then got to see Manhattan in all its splendor. And then they dropped us off over by Pier 6 in Brooklyn by a massive big soccer field / beach volleyball field. And then we also walked by a sailboat restaurant / bar called Pilot.
So it's a restaurant on a boat.
It's an oyster bar / actual bar. Does
Bunch
oyster
of
bar imply that it's just oysters, or does it imply oyster and bar? Can you have
oyster
one without the
bar
other?
implies oysters. Bunch of shuckers on those things.
Yeah, that's right. Hell yeah. Shuck yeah, dude. Okay, yeah. So an oyster bar, because it's usually prepared at a bar and they're
So
on
it's a
ice.
bar and oyster bar.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think that would be my blissful place because too much motion of the ocean. It was too
Yeah.
small of a space. But it would be a
Well,
good spot to like have
tell me,
one
tell me
beer.
about music festivals because you started talking about that earlier. I've never really been to a music festival, so tell me how you
I've
find
been
your bliss there.
well let's let's just say there are some ways to find bliss at a
Okay,
music festival,
okay,
and perhaps we'll leave it there.
fair enough.
But there's nothing better than being with a bunch of your friends, all experiencing bliss together in that one moment, and making friends with the people next to you at the campsite. And then you all go in to see the Killers play, because it's always the Killers playing. But yeah, that's always good. I like that camaraderie, because it's like with stuff like that. I actually I like being lost in the crowd sometimes, because it's kind of like the saying when it's like, oh, I like big parties because they're so intimate.
Right, Great Gatsby.
Yeah. Yeah, it is Great Gatsby, isn't it?
Yeah,
Shout out Taylor McKillop, his favorite book, or so he claims, which he probably read in ninth
he's
grade.
probably just
I don't
seen
know
the
how many
movie.
books he's read since then. Besides Moneyball. But
Ka-ching.
but I think that's very true though. Like, and that's why I do like going to like football games and then things like that, where there's like tons of people, where you can kind of like have like this experience. You can kind of create your own experience and go around. And my friends used to like would give me shit for at music festivals for just like disappearing and kind of like, and it would be because I was like off making friends with like some random people, and then I'd come back like 45 minutes later being like I'm friends with the campsite 2 doors down from us.
Right.
Like they just gave me some shots and we're gonna play beer pong later. Um,
Yes,
and
Alex,
it's a similar thing with tailgates, especially if you have like good friendly people at tailgates. Like you can really like, there is that opportunity where it's like you can just you're all there for this one big shared experience. You're probably never going to see each other again. So you can either go the one route, which is like, oh, I'm going to like fucking get into a fight and get pissed about my team. Or you can be like, hey, we're all here together. This is like this crazy kind of dumb thing that we're doing, rooting for college football teams.
yeah,
But it is meaningful. It does have like an emotional importance. But if you can like recognize that, and music festivals are a little bit more, because like, it's not like someone's going to be like, I like Post Malone. Like, fuck the Killers. You're
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, that's cool. You like them. I'm here to see them, but that's cool. Like, the fact that you're interested in it makes
Imagine
me
if we
interested in
took
it. Yeah.
that to the next tailgate. We pull up to the Clemson game and go, "Oh wow, you guys are Clemson fans. I also like Clemson. Like I'm a
We wear
Miami
orange
fan,
too,
but
man.
Clemson's like my third favorite band in the ACC."
Well, I feel like that's the thing. If you like go to grad school or something like that, you can start pulling that off.
As
Texas
I
Tech,
sit here
baby.
in my Texas Tech Red Raider
I
shirt,
like orange. You wear
second
orange,
banana.
and so does the Island Bliss. It has orange in it too. And by the way, I really don't like the taste of orange. I did eat an orange today, though, Freed.
So you just don't like orange flavored, like the fake
Yeah,
orange?
I actually rekindled my love of just eating oranges today, because I find like I haven't had a lot of fruit lately. I get a lot of like pre-chopped up fruit, and I get lots of mangoes, but mangoes are extremely hit or miss, I feel like.
Good mangoes are great. Not good mangoes if they're not ripe. Yeah,
I took
but yeah,
one bite of one and I
you
threw it
need
away.
more Whole Foods. Need more Whole Foods, my boy.
Hell yeah. And their candles, 100%. Put me in that blissful state. That New York state of mind, baby. All right, Freed. We told the good people what we're thinking. We talked about bliss. We went from being pissed to being blissed. And now I'm
Yeah, you only got to
blessed.
change one letter, change your whole vibe, right?
Going from stressed to blessed, pissed to blissed. That's what we're doing here on Booch. While we told you what we're drinking, the GT's Island Bliss, made with passion fruit, orange juice, and guava. Told you what we're thinking. It's now time for us to tell you, good Boochies, who we're picking.
Who we're picking, I don't know what passion fruit smells like or tastes like anymore. It's all blending together for me, man.
It smells like the islands.
All right, well, we got a pretty solid slate this weekend, honestly. Some good games. These games come in threes, baby. Oregon at Washington. Washington favored by 3. USC at Notre Dame. Notre Dame favored by 3. UCLA at Oregon State. Beavers favored by 3.5. And a special sentiment pick, we got Navy favored by 3 at Charlotte. It's going to be the first time the 49ers have made an appearance on the podcast, and I have no idea what sort of mining revolution happened in some sort of 49 in Charlotte, North Carolina. No idea.
Yep. Can't imagine it was about gold.
It must have been. What else were they mining?
I don't know. It's
Magnesium.
not a mining. It's just the 49ers. It just implies that there's... Are they the miners? They're the 49ers.
They're the 49ers, but their logo, like, kind of has some sort of...
kind of has a pickaxe in it, right?
Yeah. Like the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, no, I know that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I feel like the Charlotte 49ers has some sort of a mining implication, too.
The nickname 49ers derives from the fact that the university's predecessor, Charlotte Center of the University of North Carolina, was saved from being shut down by the state in 1949.
Oh, so nothing about mines or
it's
gold.
not a pickaxe. I think it's, oh no, maybe it is. No, it definitely is a pickaxe.
Right?
It looks like an airplane though. It's also.
So I was looking at their logo today.
Their logo, I got it. The primary athletic logo, called the All-NC, contains a pickaxe, a reference to the gold rush. Okay, so it's a reference to the gold rush, but it's 49ers because of that specific thing. Anyway, Frieda, aren't you going to ask me what I'm supposed to pick in the first pick of the thing?
No, I want to dive into this a little bit more.
I don't.
Just to be clear, I think
Nobody cares about Charlotte.
We've established that they're the 49ers, so their logo is a pickaxe in homage to the
gold rush.
The
yes.
The San Francisco 49ers?
Yes, pretty much.
That's weird. That's weird.
Teams repeat mascots all the time. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's just weird. All right. How about Oregon and Washington, Alex? What are we thinking here, dude?
Frieda, it's Bonix versus Penix.
Bonix and Penix?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's the battle of Bonix and Penix. And you know what, Fried? I've been riding Penix all season long. So I got to give it to Washington Huskies, baby. Let's go. Let's ride Penix.
Right there with you. I'm the captain of this Penix ship. May the best Knicks win.
Right.
Alex just spit a little bit of island bliss out of his nose.
Spit it out. I kept it in my mouth. Riding Penix. Okay, Fried. Next up, we have one of the best rivalries in all of college sports. It's the University of Southern California Trojans at the 2-loss Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are still favored by 3 points. And I can only imagine it's because of Sam Hartman, his good looks, and the bone. Speaking of bows, we got bows and bones and Knicks and Penix. Who you got?
USC. Don't forget about the Trojans. I would like to see Michael Penix with a bone necklace playing for the Trojans.
Who do you got? USC at Notre Dame.
I got Notre Dame. USC is fraudulent.
I think the Trojans are going to cover Sam Hartman's bone. I got USC in this one, Fried.
All right. Forget about the East Coast. We're staying out west. UCLA, Oregon State, -3.5 to the Beavs. We got Beavers now, too.
You know I got to go Beavers. It's Beavers all the way for me, Fried. I don't know about you.
I'm a little torn here. I want to be a big Beaver guy, but the UCLA defense is legit. I'm going to go UCLA to cover on the road. Chip Kelly, baby. Why not?
Bruins over the Beavers. The Brunettes over the Beavers. Okay. Fair enough, Fried. All right. And by the way, Boochies, we've come to our senses. We're no longer doing 4 teams for this. We're going to do 3 teams. Then we're going to do a sediment pick. And then we're going to have Miami tiebreaker so that, we were just doing an extra team for no reason. It doesn't really make sense. We finally come to our senses here 4 years into the show.
Good things come in threes. The tiebreaker, sometimes there's a tie, sometimes there's not. We'll see.
We'll see.
Some say less is more, some say more is less, but it's all about threes tonight. So
absolutely. Well, it's time for our sediment pick. And for those of you who don't know, and even for those who do, it's now time for us to drain the dregs of the college football barrel and get whatever's left down there, much like a kombucha, as we finish off with our final sips of the GT Island Bliss. I still have a lot more kombucha left. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it.
I do as well, and there's a lot of sediment in here. A lot of floating citrus.
I think I'm going to cap this up and save it for tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to finish it.
I'm right there with you, my man, and that could be a preview for the scores to come.
It could be. All right. We've got Navy, the Naval Academy, -3 at the Charlotte 49ers. Freed, who you got?
The ESPN FPI likes Charlotte in this game. I am a known critic of the ESPN FPI, so I'm just going to go with Navy because probably Vegas knows something that ESPN's power index does not.
Salute to their service. I also have the Naval Academy, baby.
You have your sailor mug, too.
Yeah, daddy. To all the daddies
Navy
out there.
Dad.
Represent. All right, it's now time for our tiebreaker. The University of Miami Hurricanes, who are inviting North Carolina from Chapel Hill down to Coral Gables. And by Coral Gables, I mean
Chapel Hill.
No, it's not at. Is it at? No. Oh, it's at. Oh,
it's a road game. Yeah.
Oh, God, I thought for a split second it was going to be at Miami.
Negatory.
All right, Freed, what do you got? Who's your final score?
Well, so clearly, last week on the show we talked about confidence, and we were all very confident in the program, everything. It's crazy how one knee could change. No, we played awful in that game, but it was just one game, and I haven't lost hope that this team is pretty solid, although I am going to temper my expectations here significantly. I just don't think UNC is that good, so I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe this game lights a spark, and I'm being very optimistic, and I'm probably going to get hurt again, but give me Miami 31-28 to steal one. If we can kneel this game out at the end, all will be forgiven, Mario.
Freed, I've told you to temper your expectations.
Yeah, many a times. And I never learn.
But I don't know if it's something about the Island Bliss. But I got Canes 31, UNC 30, baby.
Wow.
The thing is, if we don't win this game, we're going to have 4 straight games that we're going to lose. Well, if we do win this game,
1 week at a time. 1 week
then
at a time.
Clemson, Florida State, I don't care if we lose. Louisville, it'll be tight. Oh, but this season could get ugly quick. So I'm just hoping that last week was a fluke and that it's going to give us the motivation to change shit up. I don't know. That's all we can hope.
We can go back to our early season expectations where we were thinking 8 wins would be good, 9 would be great. If we go back to that before we raised our expectations, we're still very much on pace for an 8-win floor, 9-win potential season. We're still on pace. The ACC may be out the window at this point. We pretty much need to win out to get to the ACC championship game. And if we play the way we played against GT, that wasn't going to happen anyway. So it's kind of a win-win when you look at it from that perspective where, maybe we're not that good. So we'll figure out that we're not that good. And if we turn out to be that good, then we be that good. But if we're not, we're not. So temper your expectations, find your happy place, follow us on Twitter.
Speaking of your happy place, Freed, what are we giving as our final ranking to the GT's Island Bliss?
Dude, this is starting.
Can you talk to us about what our score system is real quick?
First of all, this Island Bliss is starting to feel like the Georgia Tech game. I don't want to drink it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. The Booch ranking system Booch Ball has developed, proprietary blend, 0 to 10. We start at 0, the worst thing ever. We work our way up to 3, not good, 4, meh, 7, delicious, 9, amazing Booch, 10, best thing ever. I left out a few numbers, but
Yeah, you really skipped around there. All right, Freed, do you have a final score for this here kombucha?
yeah, it's not great. I wouldn't buy it. That's our 6. It's below the 6 threshold for me. I would not buy this one again. GT's has some really good flavors. This to me was a miss on their end. I think they followed the crowd and tried to get a little too tropical, combining all these cool fruits like guava and passion fruit that nobody really knows what they are.
Yeah.
Orange, not great. Man, I would drink it. That's our 5. I'm going to go 5.2.
I'm giving it a straight 5 for those exact reasons, Freed. Nothing special here. It's basically a meh, but it's like I would drink it. It's not like
it's
whatever.
it's just above a meh.
Yeah. All right. We agree. We're locked in on the Island Bliss as well as the Miami UNC game. Folks, thank you for listening. Miami, you know what? Shit's happened. We've already built up a thick skin. Don't let that last game be the thing that just ruins your life. Move on. Move on to the next game. You're going to be Miami fans regardless. Like, we're all pissed off, but it's year 2. That's what I'm thinking. Just keep moving. Basketball season's right around the corner. Let's just temper the expectations. We're good. Maybe this will all work out in the end. Let's see what happens this Saturday at Chapel Hill.
That's right. Well said. At the end of the day, enjoy football season. Don't take it for granted. You know, it's gonna come, it's gonna go, and then we'll spend 8 months with
Like a
which
bow
is the
and a
next one
phoenix,
coming.
Freed. Like a bow and a phoenix. He will come and he will go, and may the best Trojan win.
And hopefully the Beavers cover up that Hartman bone.
You said it, baby. All right, Freed. Good to see you, brother. To all our Boochies, we love you. Hit us up on Booch Ball and on all of the social media platforms and all that jazz. We love you. Good night, and as always,
Stay cultured. Peace. Go find that bliss, folks.
Booch. We playing Booch ball.